We're going to do four little sessions on poetry.
Okay.
So bear with me. And what we're going to cover, they're two men and two women, but they're all what are called transcendentalists. So they transcend the world around us. The images that they evoke, uh, try to go beyond or transcend what you would see into something deeper. So we'll
Are
see if
they
they do that.
are they Buddhist?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
So the first one we're going to start with, oops, what's this? Is this your video? Your video? Yeah. Okay. The first one we're going to start with is a modern poet, Mary Oliver. And hold on a second. Okay, can you see this?
Yeah. Well, that's better. Yep.
Okay. So here she is, and this is her with her companion. And let's just run through this a little bit so you'll see. She's very prolific. There are many
Wow.
books of poetry that she put together, and she uh, was widely quoted, very au courant. Uh, how would you describe Mary Oliver?
Yeah, she's very contemporary. She was considered to be the Unitarian poet laureate for many years. And she kind of retired to Cape Cod with her partner. Um, and they lived, very reclusive there. Her partner was a very prolific photographer, and Mary was a very prolific poet. Um, and they did a lot of work together. They did some books together that were very interesting, very good. Um, I don't
But
know. She
yeah,
returned to her Catholic faith at the end of
yeah.
her life.
I think you can see, if you look here, you'll see here's a picture of a waterfall. Here's a picture of a forest with a stream in it. Here's a picture of an ocean. So she was very much caught up with nature, with the world around us, and the beauty that was in it, and the collective unconscious that Jung described that's in everything that's that's there. And she resonated with it in a unique way. So she just died in 2019. Um, And as it says here, her work was inspired by nature, not things of man. And she loved solitary walks. Uh, and it was this sincere wonderment and profound connection with the environment. And she was able to convey it in unadorned language, simple but striking imagery. The imagery is always what struck me as unique, that what she saw was something beyond uh, what other people would see, as you can see from the words. Um, she said her family was dysfunctional. Her childhood was very hard, but writing helped her create her own world. That's a kind of a common theme in all the people that we're talking about tonight, that they all escaped into poetry to create their own world and the ideas that came with it. So she'd been sexually abused as a child, and that had led to recurring nightmares. So she started writing poetry at age 14 and graduated from high school at the age 15 and went to Interlochen in Michigan. Have you ever been there, Bruce? It's
You
a
weren't?
wonderful music camp
Oh,
by Grand.
no, I haven't been there.
If you picture the Lower Peninsula, Michigan, it's up here. Uh, Here's Detroit down here by the thumb, but it's up here uh,
Oh, yeah.
by Traverse City. Wonderful place, and it's still there, going very strong. And she was in the percussion section, okay. And then at age 17, she visited Edna St. Vincent Millay in Austerlitz, New York, and formed a friendship with the sister, Norma. And they then spent 6 or 7 years together at the estate organizing the papers. And she went to Ohio State and Vassar and just really didn't resonate with either one of them and dropped out. But her poetry is grounded in memories of Ohio and her adopted home of New England. Provincetown is where she and her partner moved to in the 60s. That was really Provincetown then was a very artistic place. Norman Mailer was there, if you remember Norman Mailer, and a lot of drugs. It is what it is. Um, so influenced by both Walt Whitman and Henry David Thoreau, she's known for her clear and poignant observations of the natural world. In the 1983 Chronology of American Literature, one of her collection of poems presents a new kind of romanticism that refuses to acknowledge boundaries between nature and the observing self. So nature stirred her creativity. She was an avid walker and often pursued inspiration on her hikes on foot, and her poems are filled with imagery from her daily walks near her home, the shorebirds, the water snakes, the phases of the moon, the humpback whales. Uh, she said, if I go off into my woods, my ponds, my sun-filled harbor, no more than a blue comma on the map of the world, but to me, the emblem of everything. When things are going well, the walk does not get rapid or get anywhere. I finally just stop and write, and that's a successful walk. She said she once found herself walking in the woods with no pen and later hid pencils in the trees so she'd never be stuck in that place again. And she carried a 3 by 5 inch hand sewn notebook for recording impressions and phrases. She was called a patroller of the wetlands in the same way that Thoreau was an inspector of snowstorms. And she stood by her favorite poets, Walt Whitman, Rumi, Hafez, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Percy Bliss Shelley, and John Keats. We're going to cover Whitman and Rumi. She was also compared to Emily Dickinson, who we're going to cover, with whom she shared an affinity for solitude and inner monologues, and her poetry combines dark introspection with joyous release. She's criticized for writing poetry that assumes a close relationship between women and nature, but she found the self is only strengthened through an immersion in the natural environment. She's known for straightforward language, accessible themes. Her works have been described as an antidote to inattention and the Baroque conventions of our social and professional lives. She's a poet of wisdom and generosity whose vision allows us to look intimately at a world not of our making. And in the New York Times, it described her in 2007 as far and away the country's best-selling poet. As you can see by all the books she wrote, the publishers, when they see something sell, they ask for more, and she gave them more. So she was an indefatigable guide to the natural world, especially its lesser-known aspects, and she was as visionary as Emerson, among the few American poets who can describe and transmit ecstasy while retaining a practical awareness of the world as one of predators and prey. Uh, her poetry insists on the primacy of the physical, and it touches a vitality in the familiar that invests it with fresh intensity. And so it goes. The reviews are all like this. So here's some poems here. We're going to pick just a couple of them. Let's see. Wild Geese is the one that's most well known. So we're going to do that. So let me just get out of this, and I'm going to go dig up Wild Geese here. Hold on a second. Wild Geese. Here it is. And Marjorie's going to read it.
I don't know if I can see it from afar.
Can you see this, Bruce?
Yep.
These glasses are too.
Can you do it? Or you want to
See.
sit here?
You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft arrival animal, maybe I better move.
Yeah, better move. Get your glasses.
Yep. Okay. Take that from the top. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things.
Interesting.
A second, I just want to check to make sure that's the end. Yep. Okay. So you see, the poetry is the words are quite, I would say, straightforward, simple. There's no, but the imagery is incredible that you could take these simple words and evoke what I got different images all through it. And of course, wild geese, there's always the statement that geese fly in formation, but there's always a wild goose, one that's a little different. And that's who she was. She was a wild geese. Goose. And so it goes. So, an incredible gift that she had. I'm just looking to see. I think there was one more. Nope, we don't have anything here. Let me just go back then to the PowerPoint. Wait, that's here. Here it is here.
She was incredibly prolific.
Yeah, there's not that much more to the PowerPoint. I'm just going to go here and show you. Wait, this is, sorry. I was just checking to make sure that we covered everything we wanted to cover, and in particular to do a poem, and we did. And uh, the other ones are of the same ilk. They're all different. I think they're all gems. I never really came across a bad poem that she ever did. Did you? I never. They were all polished. She had this way of putting these things together that was incredible. So, um, and here's a whole bunch of additional source materials on her. You know, she gave talks everywhere, uh, but not that many, and she was interviewed all the time by all kinds of people. So that's out there. So with that,
She was a real naturalist as well. I
right.
think. I don't know that we really have had that many.
Well, she could observe nature very deeply, and you know, just little things are around her she'd pick up on, as you could see, and it's an incredible gift to be able to, you know, have that ability to observe the world around you and then record it the way that she did. It's fantastic. So with that, we're going to end this first session on Mary Oliver. I'll stop the recording.